Welcome to Storytime with Red. Please take a moment to like and subscribe to our channel. We truly appreciate each and every one of you. Let us know where you're tuning in from in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Now, let's dive into today's story. It wasn't a lipstick mark on a collar or a secret phone call. No, the first sign was something far more subtle, yet much more dangerous because of its simplicity. One cold Saturday morning in January, Logan Carter stood by the front door struggling to pull his thick boots over his socks. His breath formed little clouds in the icy air, and the world outside seemed frozen in time. He pulled on his coat and called up the stairs, "Jasmine, I'm headed out to change the tires. Need anything while I'm out?" A muffled voice floated back down, "No, babe, I'm good." Logan smiled faintly. 6 years of marriage, 2 kids, and a cozy home in suburban Denver. They were the kind of couple people looked up to. He loved her deeply, had fought for her, and built a life with her. He kissed his gloved fingers and tossed the kiss upstairs before stepping outside. The car, a silver Honda Pilot, Jasmine's pride and joy, was already running. The engine hummed softly, and Logan slid into driver's seat, thankful for the seat heater that was still turned on high. She always forgot to turn it down, but he didn't mind. Swapping out the tires wasn't glamorous, but it was something he enjoyed. Taking care of the small tasks made him feel connected to Jasmine and to their life together. By the time Logan returned from the garage, Jasmine was dressed and ready to go out. Her brown hair cascaded in soft waves over her jacket. "I'm heading to the mall," she chirped, grabbing her purse. "Need anything?" Logan shook his head, watching her slip away with the grace of smoke between his fingers. "Don't max out the cards," he teased. She laughed, kissed his cheek, but the kiss felt quick and distracted, leaving the house feeling emptier than it should. Still, Logan wasn't worried. He trusted her completely. He flopped onto the couch, switched on the game, and tried to enjoy the rare few hours of silence. But something nagged at him. Later, thinking he'd left his sunglasses in her car, Logan went to retrieve them. As he opened the door, a cold chill ran down his spine. Not from the weather, but from something his brain instantly picked up on. The passenger seat heater was on, recently adjusted. The seat itself had been pushed back, as though someone else had been sitting there. Logan's stomach lurched. Jasmine never needed the passenger seat heater when she drove alone, and she was short. The seat never had to be pushed back. His hand hovered on the gear shift as 100 possible scenarios raced through his mind. None of them were innocent. He tried to calm himself, telling himself not to jump to conclusions, but the doubt was already planted. He walked back inside, sunglasses forgotten, and found Jasmine at the kitchen sink, humming as she washed a coffee cup. He approached her casually, trying to sound normal. "Hey, did you meet up with someone today?" he asked, his heart hammering in his chest. Jasmine stiffened, just a slight twitch, the kind of thing most people would miss. But Logan noticed it immediately. "No," she replied quickly. "Why?" Logan shrugged. "No reason. I just thought maybe you bumped into a friend." "Nope. Just me," she replied, too brightly, too fast. Logan forced a smile and kissed her temple before excusing himself to the basement, claiming he had tools to organize down there. Surrounded by the smell of old paint and dusty cardboard, his mind ran wild. Had it started? Was she already stepping outside their marriage? He remembered how, years ago before Jasmine, he had been the one who betrayed. When he was younger, married to Alyssa, a woman who loved him blindly, Logan had been foolish and restless. The affair with a co-worker, casual and meaningless, had torn everything apart. He hadn't been caught through texts or meetings, but through the small telling signs. The distracted glances, forgotten anniversaries, and bursts of anger that came from nowhere. Alyssa had trusted him, until she didn't. When she confronted him, he denied it, lying through his teeth, until she laid out the evidence on the table. Photos, hotel receipts, and the dead look at her eyes. Their marriage had ended in silence after that. Logan left town, started over, and became a man who swore never to hurt anyone like that again. But now, as he stood in the basement staring at the wall, he realized that the signs were eerily familiar. This time, he wasn't the one cheating. His stomach churned. He spent the evening observing Jasmine closely, The nervous energy in her movements, the way she texted quickly under the table, the way she flinched whenever he walked into her room. Something was wrong. The next morning at breakfast, they sat across from each other while their kids, Oliver and Sooty, chattered about cartoons and pancakes. Logan sipped his coffee, studying her face. She smiled too easily, laughed too loudly, and when their eyes met, there was a guardedness in hers. There was a secret, a toxic secret, growing between them. Logan felt a cold certainty wash over him. He needed to know the truth. He owed it to himself, to the man he'd worked so hard to become. By Monday, Logan couldn't bear the uncertainty any longer. He sat at his desk in his downtown Denver office, staring at the same spreadsheet, his co-workers bustling around him, but his mind was elsewhere. He kept replaying Jasmine's hesitation, the warm passenger seat, the shift in her laugh. It was like a splinter he couldn't pull out. During lunch, instead of joining the team for tacos, Logan slipped into a quiet booth at a coffee shop, his mind racing. He pulled out his phone and scrolled through a list of private investigators. His fingers hovered over the screen. Was he really doing this? He thought of Oliver's wide, toothy grin and Sooty's tiny hand clutching his pinky as she slept. He thought of the life they built, and Jasmine, the woman he thought he knew. If there was even a chance that something was happening behind his back, he had to find out. Logan tapped on a contact, Seth Radcliffe Investigations, and quickly sent a text. Need to meet. Urgent. Discretion required. 5 minutes later, a reply buzzed back. Come by 3 p.m. Back entrance. No names at the door. Logan stared at the message, his palms sweating. He was really going through with it. At exactly 3 p.m., Logan parked 2 blocks away and walked briskly to a plain gray building. The back entrance was tucked between an alleyway and a boarded-up diner. No signs, no windows, just a buzzer. He pressed it with trembling hands. The door cracked open to reveal a man in his mid-40s, broad-shouldered, wearing a worn leather jacket and jeans. His sharp eyes missed nothing. You must be Mr. Carter, the man said, glancing at a clipboard. Logan nodded, trying to steady his breath. Yeah, he muttered, glancing nervously over his shoulder. Relax. No one's watching, the man said, ushering him inside. The faint scent of stale coffee and worn carpet filled the air as a fan hummed quietly in the corner, shifting papers across a battered desk. I'm Seth, the man said, offering a hand. You want to tell me why you're here, or do you want to guess? Logan swallowed, anxiety tightening in his chest. My wife, Jasmine, I think something's going on. I need proof. Seth nodded slowly, a look of understanding crossing his face, as if he'd heard these words countless times. All right, first things first, you're not crazy. Trust your gut. People lie, but patterns don't. Logan felt something heavy and sharp settle inside him at Seth's words. Give me the details, Seth continued, pulling out a notebook. Logan didn't hold back. He recounted the trip to the mall, the oddness of the passenger seat, the moments of hesitation, the changes in routines. He even confessed to his own doubts and fears, wondering if somehow history was punishing him. Seth listened, occasionally jotting something down, his expression unreadable. When Logan was finished, Seth leaned back in his chair. Here's the deal. Surveillance isn't cheap. I'll need a retainer. $5,000 up front. I'll put 2 guys on her discreetly. If something's going on, we'll catch it. If not, at least you'll have peace of mind. Win-win. Logan hesitated for only a moment before pulling out his checkbook. Some truths were worth paying for. Some things needed to be fought for. That night, Logan couldn't eat. He barely touched his burger as Jasmine chatted about work, her voice smooth and practiced. Their son Oliver giggled at his own jokes and Sooty colored on the placemats, but through it all Logan felt attached, like a stranger in his own life. He watched Jasmine tenderly wipe Sooty's mouth with a napkin, her fingers soft, her smile warm and maternal, and he wondered, how long have you been lying to me? 3 days later, Seth called. Got something you need to see, he said, his voice matter-of-fact. Logan drove to the office, his heart pounding in his chest. Inside, Seth pulled up a grainy video on an old laptop. Logan leaned in. Their unmistakable even in low resolution was Jasmine sitting in a corner booth at Pier 19, a seafood restaurant they use a visit for their anniversaries. Across from her sat Cole Mercer, her manager, a tall, athletic, handsome man with a rugged charm, someone who had always been just a friend. In the video, they were leaning in close over plates of untouched food, their hands brushing. Jasmine laughed too loud at something Cole said. At one point, Cole tucked a strand of her hair behind her ear. Her cheeks flushed, and she let him. Logan stared at the screen, his fists clenched. This was Tuesday night, Seth said quietly, after her late meeting. "We've got more if you want it. Texts, calls. We can dig deeper." Logan leaned back, his chest hollow. "No," he whispered, his voice ragged. "I've seen enough." But in truth, he hadn't. Betrayal wasn't a single wound. It was 1,000 tiny cuts that you never felt until they drained you completely. The next morning, Logan woke early, packing lunches, ironing the kids' clothes, and kissing Jasmine goodbye as she left for work. He smiled, played the perfect husband. But inside, he was plotting something darker. He wasn't ready to confront her. Not yet. He needed something bigger, something that would hit her where it hurt the most, something she wouldn't see coming. The hardest part wasn't pretending he didn't know. It was lying next to her at night, watching her sleep, and wondering how much of their life together had ever been real. For the rest of the week, Logan moved like a ghost through their house, preparing the kids for school, helping Jasmine fix the broken porch light, smiling at neighbors. All the while, a storm was brewing inside him. He wasn't going to confront her until he had something more. She had forgotten loyalty. But Logan would remind her in a way she would never forget. On Thursday night, after the kids were in bed, Logan sat alone in the living room. The only sound was the soft ticking of the grandfather clock. He opened his laptop, heart racing. He created a new email address under a fake name, Michael Graves. Then he composed an email. Subject: Opportunity for advancement. Message: Dear Jasmine, we've noticed your impressive performance at Crescent Marketing, and we'd like to offer you a private interview for a senior role at a boutique firm expanding operations into Denver. Discretion required. Please reply if interested. He attached a fake LinkedIn profile he created for Michael Graves, complete with endorsements, a company website, and a list of fake clients. The bait was set. He hit send and leaned back, staring at the ceiling. The next evening, Logan watched as Jasmine tapped away at her phone, stirring spaghetti sauce. Her eyes lit up, and a small smile danced at the corners of her mouth. She didn't say a word, but Logan knew he had her attention now. Meanwhile, Seth kept feeding Logan intel. More pictures, more videos, more lies. Jasmine wasn't just having lunch with Cole anymore. Twice, Seth's team caught them walking out a hotel lobby 20 minutes apart. No luggage in hand. There was no video from inside, but Logan didn't need it. He already knew the truth. Jasmine was no longer his wife in any meaningful way, and Cole was about to pay for it. A week later, Jasmine sat at the kitchen table clutching a printed email. "Logan," she said, her voice bubbling with excitement, "you're not going to believe this. I got a job offer." He raised an eyebrow, playing dumb. "Yeah." She nodded, her cheeks flushed. "A senior marketing strategist position, twice the salary. It came out of nowhere, but they said they've been watching my progress." Logan chuckled. "Guess you're finally getting what you deserve," he said smoothly. Jasmine laughed and tucked the email away in her purse. The trap was sprung. That weekend, Logan made a show of planning a romantic getaway for their anniversary. He booked a luxury cabin 2 hours out of town, mountain views, hot tubs, wine tastings. He told Jasmine it would just be the two of them, a break from the chaos, a chance to reconnect. She eagerly agreed. What she didn't know was that Seth's team was already in position, hidden microphones, cameras, GPS trackers. Logan wasn't just going to catch her in a lie. He was going to catch her destroying herself, without ever raising his voice. Friday morning, Jasmine packed her cutest outfits, her best makeup, and lacy nightwear. But Logan knew the real reason for her excitement wasn't the romance. It was a second phone hidden in the side pocket of her purse. The burner phone. Logan had Seth's tech guy clone it 3 days ago. Logan had already seen every text she'd sent to Cole. He has no idea. I'll sneak away after dinner. Meet me at the Ridgeview Motel. Logan had memorized every word, every lie, every broken vow, and he stayed silent. They arrived at the cabin mid-afternoon, the sky strewn with sunset, casting everything in a perfect golden glow. Inside, Jasmine was affectionate, almost too affectionate. She kissed his neck, laughed, poured them wine. Guilt was a powerful aphrodisiac, Logan thought grimly. He played along, knowing the storm he was building would soon make her regret everything. He kissed her back, then laughed as he poured more wine. He noticed her phone buzz twice, saw the hesitation in her smile. Around 9, she faked being tired, yawning and stretching. Long day, she said, then added, Mind if I crash early? Logan smiled warmly and assured her, of course. Get some rest. She kissed him goodnight and disappeared into the bedroom. Exactly 6 minutes later, Logan watched from the upstairs window as Jasmine snuck out the back door. Her car's headlights sliced through the darkness, and just like that, she was gone. Logan leaned back in the leather armchair, sipping his whiskey. Outside, Seth's men were following her. Inside, the cameras were recording everything. Tonight, Jasmine thought she was being clever, sneaking off for another taste of forbidden love. But when she came back, Logan would be gone, and so would everything she thought she had. The trap was set perfectly. It was well past midnight when the front door creaked open. Logan remained silent in the dark living room, a single lamp casting a pale pool of light. He didn't need to check who it was. He could smell her perfume before he even heard her shaky breath. Jasmine crept inside, heels in one hand, hair tousled, lipstick smeared, coat wrapped tightly around her. She looked around nervously, thinking the house was asleep, thinking her secret was still safe. Good night. Logan's voice came from the shadows. Jasmine froze. Her purse slipped from her fingers, hitting the wooden floor with a thud. Her head whipped toward him, eyes wide, mouth opening and closing like a fish gasping for air. She stammered, her voice cracking. I couldn't sleep. Went for a drive to clear my head. Logan rose slowly, crossing the room one step at a time. He held out his phone, its screen glowing. A video played, Jasmine pulling into the Ridgeview Motel parking lot, opening the door to a room where Cole Mercer was already waiting. She smiled, laughed, and disappeared inside. You looked real peaceful for someone clearing their head. Logan's voice was sharp, like a knife. Jasmine's face crumpled. Logan, please, she whispered, tears filling her eyes. It wasn't what you think. He cut her off coldly. Tell me, was this your first time, second, or have you lost count already? She broke down sobbing, falling to her knees. I made a mistake, she gasped. It just happened, Logan. It meant nothing. He laughed, but was hollow, bitter. Nothing, he echoed. You sold out 6 years of marriage, 2 kids, a family, for nothing? Jasmine crawled toward him, desperate and pathetic. It's just attention. I didn't mean for it to go this far, she wept. You're always busy, tired, distant. And you think this, he sneered, waving the phone in her face, makes it better? Jasmine collapsed fully, her forehead touching his shoes. Please, she choked. Please don't leave me. I'll do anything. I'll fix it. I'll cut him off. I'll go to therapy. I'll quit my job. Just don't break up our family. Logan stared at her for a long, painful moment. This woman, the one he had trusted with everything, the one he had built a life for, had nearly destroyed it all for a few cheap thrills in a motel room. He bent down, roughly lifting her face to make her look at him. No, he said, his voice a whisper of pure ice. You don't get to break us and still keep us. He let her go and stepped back. Then he dropped the final bomb. I knew 2 weeks ago, he said. The seat heater. The seat moved. Your lies about the mall, the dinners, the phone calls. Jasmine's face went pale. I watched you sneak around. I watched you lie. I even saw the lingerie you hid behind the coats. She stared at him in shock. He pulled an envelope from his jacket and dropped it onto the coffee table. Inside were copies of the motel security footage, screenshots of her burner phone texts, and bank statements showing secret withdrawals. her life burning on paper. "I already spoke to a lawyer," Logan said calmly. "This cabin? It's in my name. I bought it before we got married. The prenup you signed? Still valid." Jasmine blinked, dazed. "You'll get nothing but your car, your clothes, and supervised visitation," he added coldly. Her lips trembled. "Logan, don't please." "You made your choice the second you climbed into that motel bed," he said, stepping back toward the door. "By the way," he added, his tone almost too casual, "you're free to be with Cole now. Good luck. He's under investigation for sexual harassment. HR's been getting anonymous tips all week." Jasmine collapsed fully, screaming into the carpet. Logan didn't look back, not even once. He walked out into the icy night, the stars blazing above him. Each breath burned his lungs with cold, but for the first time in weeks, he could finally breathe. Logan didn't check into a hotel or call a friend. He drove 2 hours back to Denver and sat alone in a small diner, nursing black coffee until dawn. The life he had known was over, but somewhere deep inside the wreckage, a new life was waiting. This time, it would be built on something unbreakable. By Monday morning, the news had spread fast. Jasmine's name was being whispered through Crescent Marketing's hallways, but not for promotion she'd hoped for. HR had opened a formal investigation into Cole Mercer. Someone had leaked the Ridgeview Motel surveillance tapes, along with every flirtatious text between Cole and multiple employees. When HR pulled Jasmine in for questioning, she crumbled. She confessed to the emotional affair, the inappropriate meetings, and the deceit. Cole was fired immediately, and Jasmine was suspended indefinitely, pending review. At home, Logan moved quietly, packing his things. Jasmine stayed locked in the master bedroom, crying nonstop. She tried calling, texting, apologizing, begging. Logan didn't answer. He wasn't angry anymore. He wasn't even hurt. He was free. The divorce papers were served on Thursday, clean, cold, and professional. Jasmine signed without a fight. She knew there was no more bargaining left to do. Weeks passed. Logan stayed in a rented apartment on the edge of the city. It was small and simple, but full of light. He saw Oliver and Suddy on weekends, smiling, laughing, happy. No bitterness between him and the kids. He made sure of it. They were innocent. They deserved better than the wreckage Jasmine had left behind. One rainy Sunday, Logan sat at a coffee shop watching cars blur by the window. His phone buzzed with a message from Seth. Cole's facing charges. Jasmine lost her job. "Told you, patterns don't lie," Seth had written. Logan smiled faintly, not out of cruelty, but because justice had a sound. Sometimes it was as quiet as a vibrating phone in your hand. By spring, Logan had met someone new. Her name was Elena. She was a teacher with a soft voice and kind eyes. No secrets. They took it slow. He wasn't ready for promises yet. But when Elena smiled at him, genuinely, openly, Logan realized something important. Not everyone lies. Not everyone leaves. Some people stay. Some people build, brick by brick, the right way. As he drove home that night, the city lights twinkling around him, Logan rolled down the window, letting the cool wind hit his face. There was pain behind him, betrayal, loss, but ahead, nothing but open.